Welcome to the MEFA Pathway Learning Series. My name is Apelila Joseph. I am the MEFA Pathway Program Manager. MEFA is a state authority created in 1982 to help families plan, save, and pay for college and prepare for post-secondary success. As an extension of all the great resources MEFA has to offer, MEFA Pathway is a no-cost, comprehensive college and career planning web portal for students in grades 6 through 12. And our goal through this series is really to help folks become more familiar with the MEFA Pathway platform. So let's get started. Today, we are going to be looking at the MEFA Pathway's Career Discovery Zone activities for middle school students. So on my screen, as you can see, I have, let me just make sure we're shared, okay. I have already pulled up the MEFA Pathway website. I'm going to go ahead and log into my middle school account. For schools that utilize Clever, MEFA Pathway does have a Clever integration, or for first-time users, they can register and create an account with MEFA Pathway. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So once you enter the student portal for MEFA Pathway, you're automatically brought to the student's dashboard. A couple of things I want to point out before we dive into the Career Discovery Zone activities. MEFA Pathway can be translated into 6 different languages. So this is especially helpful for any counselors who are working with students whose first language is not English. The full site will translate, which is very helpful. So any of the activities, assessments and things, the questions, all of that will translate. So we are going to dive into the Career Discovery Zone activities. So we have 4 activities. There's 2 different ways to navigate. As you can see, the 4 activities will appear on the student's dashboard, or students are able to navigate to the Career Discovery Zone activities by clicking on Discover Careers and then Career Discovery Zone. So there are 4 activities. We're going to take a look at all 4 of them today. So the first one that we'll start with is the Everyday Things activity. And really the idea behind MEFA Pathway's Career Discovery Zone activities is just that, for students to explore, discover themselves, learn what they like, what they don't like. And these activities, they're more like games. They're things that students can play multiple times, really to allow students to take that time to explore. So the first activity that we're looking at is the Everyday Things activity. And so it's a very simple activity where students are able to select 2 things that they are interested in. So for me, just to start, I am going to click on animals and nature. And then from that, students are able to see a list of careers related to 2 of their interests. So it's really cool. Students can then click on the careers, and the career information card will launch, where they're able to read a little bit about what an individual in that career does. They'll see the career category. They'll also see areas of knowledge. So this is helpful as students begin to think about, what are their favorite subjects, their interests in school, what might they want to go to college and study. It's also showing the required education level. So again, some of that forward thinking for students who say, I'm really interested in veterinarians, but they didn't even know that they need a master's or doctorate degree for that career. And it will also show the median wages. So it'll show both hourly and an annual salary, which for some students, as they're just getting started in the career sort of trajectory, seeing that hourly wage might be a little bit more relatable for them at this point. So the careers of interest, students are able to save them to their career list. And so students can reset the activity and play again, selecting different pairs as they go. So this is a great way just to explore basic everyday things and see how they relate to careers. To navigate to another activity, you will see the other 3 activities listed in this banner, which is really helpful. So we're going to jump into the favorite subjects activity now. This is one of my favorite activities. for a couple different reasons. For so many middle school students, it's an easy start for them just to think about what are your favorite subjects in school right now. And that's an easy way to build and have a much larger career conversation with them. So maybe students are like, hey, I'm really interested in art. So they're able to click on their favorite subject. Then they'll also see a list of high school classes. If they hover over the high school class, it'll provide a little information box and provide just a little summary of what that class is about. And then from there, they can also see related careers. And so students are able to click on any of the related careers. The career information card will launch, and they're able to read a little description about the career, view the career category, areas of knowledge, required education level, median wages, and also see related college majors. So this is a nice activity, and of course they can save that career if it's of interest to them to their career list. So this is a great activity to do a couple different things, particularly if you're thinking about like at the 8th grade level, they're getting ready to go to high school. You want them thinking about maybe your school district has different career pathways. So this could be a great way for students to hone in just on what are their favorite subjects and then connect those favorite subjects to potential high school courses, as well as future careers and college majors. So it's a nice way just to bring everything together for students. And so students are able to reset the activity, click on a new favorite subject. They'll see a new list of high school classes that align with that favorite subject, as well as those related careers. And so students are able to go through and play this activity as many times as they would like. And again, at the core, it's really about allowing students to explore, you know, using just their basic interests, favorite subjects in school, and having that connection with careers. So we are going to jump into another activity. We're going to go with Says Who. Says Who is another one of our career discovery zone activities. And really, it's meant to be a game where students try to identify the career based on the job lingo. So students will be presented with two statements. And so it's up to the student to guess what an energy broker would say. So they'll read through each statement and then they have to click on, whichever statement they believe an energy broker would say. So from there, students will immediately see if they got it correct. It'll provide a little bit more information. But if students were to get it wrong, it'll also let them know, sorry, you got it wrong. It'll tell them the career that statement is related to, and then students can click in to learn more about the career. So again, that career information card will launch. So it's a great game for students to play. Whether they get it right or wrong, they're still learning. Whether they guess the career right or not, they're still going to learn about the other career. So it's a nice way for students to, learn and expand just their basic career knowledge to see what's out there. And just based on the statements, it's a nice glimpse into what some folks in this career might do on a day-to-day basis. So they're able to click through, play the game. And so they're not really long games, and then you can see that they're finished. So at the end, it'll give you a quick summary of how many career students guessed correct, and they're able to click in to learn more about each career or save it from their list. So again, just a nice game for students to play and explore and learn more. The final career discovery zone activity is the Would You Rather game. And so yes, it is exactly that. Students are presented with, two different statements related to a career, and they would have to select the one that they would rather do. So would you rather repair automobiles, trucks, buses, and other vehicles, or provide for public safety, by maintaining order, responding to emergencies, protecting people and property, and enforcing motor vehicle and criminal laws. So you'll see the image as well, so that's helpful for students. The one on the right relates to police, so they would select the one that they would rather do. They'll see the actual career be revealed. You can also click in to learn more about the specific career. And so students are able to play multiple rounds of this where they're presented with essentially different careers, a statement about what the career does, and then they would have to select what they would rather do. And so I'm just going to click through and play the game. So at the end of it, students are able to see what career category they have the most interest in. So coincidentally, for me, from this activity, I'm most interested in law and public safety. And so again, this is another way for students to explore. This specific activity hones in on career categories. And so that's a great way for students to begin looking. So as an example, after playing this career discovery zone activity, if students wanted to dive a little bit deeper, they can go to the career search and search by their highest career category to see careers related to that category. So there's a lot of jumping off points within the career discovery zone activities, but really specifically for middle school students, we wanted to provide some activities that allowed them to explore, not feel boxed in or locked into any of their answers. So with any of these career discovery activities, the students can replay them as many times as they would like. Maybe you do a unit with sixth graders when they first enter middle school, and you have students continue to play the games throughout their middle school careers. Interests change over time. And so especially for middle school students, when they're just starting to get their feet wet, this is a great way for them to explore from a variety of lenses, whether it is looking at their favorite subjects, just everyday things and general interests, selecting what they would rather do. The career discovery zone activities are great ways to connect all of that and bring all of that together. And so any of the careers that students came across throughout these games and activities that they save to their list, they will appear in their My Career list. And so this is a great way for students at the end of playing some games, saving some careers to their list, to be able to go back in, review the careers that they've added to their list. If any of them stood out to them, like veterinarians, from that first everyday things activity, I might heart that. Maybe that's one of my favorites right now as a middle school student. And so by hearting it, that will also appear in my digital portfolio. So there's lots of different connections here. And then within the career list, students can read more about the career or launch the full career information. So all of this really, again, is meant to help students learn and explore. Going into middle school, sometimes it's hard to know, sort of what trajectory, and they shouldn't have to know at this age, but that's why we really wanted to create some activities that really enable students to explore without boundaries and feeling locked into something specific. So with that, that is the end of our career discovery zone exploration tour. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A. As I said at the beginning, this webinar is recorded. So if you have questions or if you want to go back and review sort of what we went over today, a recording will be sent out to folks at the conclusion of the webinar. And so I'm just going to give it another minute in case there are any questions. Oh, there we go. So does MEFA translate to Portuguese? So yeah, let me just pull up the site translation for you again, so you can see that. Yes, we do translate to Portuguese, and I'll just pull that up in the site translation so you can see. So on my screen, when I click on the little English banner at the top, Portuguese is listed. So it's Chinese, English, Haitian Creole, Portuguese, Spanish, and Vietnamese. So when you click on Portuguese, everything will translate. Some of these boxes, because they're images, they're static, so that won't translate, but the actual game and activity and instructions will in fact translate. Any other questions before we sign off? Okay. With that, I am going to thank you all for joining me for this little lunchtime chat. Um, Again, the recording will be emailed out to all of you. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Or if you need some help just sort of brainstorming and strategizing how to support middle school students, we're happy to help with that as well.